decide for you. You will use English so that the proceedings move fast.
Maybe there will be certain languages that need clarification.
You are not giving evidence on the law. You are just here to tell a story.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, you are just here to. So don't worry. You will not be asked questions on the law. We don't even want that, because the law is ours. Yours is to tell us facts. Okay. So if you have any challenges, we will see. We will assess as we go on. But I suggest that so that we move fast, you just speak in English. Swearing the witness?
Alban Mindura, do you swear that the evidence you give to this court is the truth, the whole truth, nothing else but the truth? If you do so, swear, let's appeal and stay with me, God.
Thank you. State.
Mr. Mpofu, is it correct that you are employed, you are with the Ministry of Agriculture?
Yes.
You are currently the director in the Sets and Control Services.
Yes.
Before 2023, you were the director livestock production and development.
Yes.
Try and raise your voice so that the person seated right at the back can hear you. Proceed.
Do you know the two gentlemen in the dock?
Yes. I know them in connection with the livestock project that I was dealing with, specifically the Presidential Goat Scheme.
Yes.
Now, is it correct that the Ministry of Agriculture flighted a tender for the supply and delivery of goats for the presidential input scheme, person scheme?
No, I was not dealing with that one. That was for the PMU unit that was responsible. My job was to simply produce the concept note, which I handed to the PMU unit to do that business. I was not responsible for that.
But however, it was the Ministry of Agriculture in general.
Yes.
So your question was, it is correct that the Ministry of Agriculture
flighted an advert for the goat person scheme?
Yes. Carry on.
Now, the correct that the deadline for interested parties to respond was the 17th of September 2021.
As I have said, I was not responsible for the production of the tender documents or the bid documents. So I knew nothing about it. That was done by the PMU.
Anyway, it doesn't matter, it's common cause. Now, how did you get involved in this scheme yourself? At what point did you get yourself involved?
Okay. Initially, I was requested by the Permanent Secretary, John Basera, to produce a concept note for the presidential goat person scheme that was supposed to deliver about 640,000 goats. 600,000.
Sorry, give your evidence slowly so that I can record everything.
Okay. I repeat.
Yes, please do.
I was tasked to produce.
As you speak, allow the court to record in long end.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was tasked by the then Permanent Secretary, Dr. Basera, to produce a concept note for the presidential person scheme. The total was for 600,000 bucks and 40,000. Sorry, doors, 600,000 doors 640,000 bucks to give a total of 640,000 goats to be supplied.
640.
Yeah, 640,000 goats
Okay.
to be supplied by the contractor who was going to be identified by the PMU.
To be supplied by a supplier to be identified by the PMU. PMU means?
The Procurement Management Unit for the ministry.
Yes, okay. You speak up of doors and bucks. How do you spell doors?
That's DOES, like does.
Okay.
Then bucks, BUCKS.
Yes, what is
These
the
are the females. These are the males.
Okay.
And the first ones are the females.
Okay, so the doors are the females.
Yes.
Okay. Female gods.
Female gods, yes.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
So after production of the concept note, I passed it on to the PS for his approval. And after approval, I then submitted it to the PMU for them now to do the tender process.
Yes. Okay, you can pause there. The PS, Mr. Basera.
Yes, Dr. Basset.
Yes, for approval.
For approval.
And thereafter, who passed it on to the PMU? Is it you or
It was me.
after approval?
Yes, after approval.
State?
Okay. After that, I then was advised by one of my juniors that there is a contractor who is buying goats for the presidential scheme. And what I then did is, because I had been asking of this document, then Moses once came to my office inquiring about the tender when it was still out.
Who is Moses?
Moses Mpofu.
First accused person.
Yes. He was inquiring about the tender. And then I directed him to PMU directly. I said my job was to simply produce the concept note. And the tendering
Wait,
process...
slowly. You are directing them to the PMU.
Yes.
Explaining that your business was to prepare the concept note.
Yes, my business was just the preparation of the concept note. And then the tendering process was to be done by the PMU. So all facts that he wanted regarding the tender process, he was going to get it from the PMU. So,
Okay, so just pause there. Who did you tell this?
I told Moses Mpofu.
Okay. So you can now proceed.
Then we exchanged phone numbers. He got my number and I got his number after the discussion. Now, when I was advised by one of my juniors officers that there is a contractor buying lots, I then said, I am not aware of this because I haven't received the contract document. However, I know someone who showed an interest in the GOAT project.
If you may pause there.
Yes, however, there is someone
who showed an interest in the goat project, and I will be in touch with him, of which that's what I did. I then sent a WhatsApp message to Moses Mpofu. It was during the night, because I normally work during the night, inquiring whether he had, the one who had got a tender, and he confirmed yes on the WhatsApp message, of which I then congratulated him.
Yes, post there. You congratulated him.
Yes, and that was on 22 February 2021. Sorry. That's 22 February 2022. So after that, we arranged. He requested to meet me, because he actually told me they had actually started procuring the goats using their own resources. However, they're waiting for the government to release money. And on the 2nd of March...
Give slowly. Yes, proceed.
And then on the 2nd of March, definitely they came to my office, Moses, Mpofu, and Mike Chimombe. We had a discussion. I told them that...
Yes, wait. Sorry, I'll continue asking you to pause so that I record everything.
Thank you.
So perhaps when you say something, and I record it when I'm done, I will then prompt you to proceed.
Okay.
Yes. So after every statement, please pause so that I record. Then I will prompt you to proceed. Yeah. So on the 2nd of March, they came. That is Moses Mpofu and Mike Chimombe. Proceed from there.
They came to my office, and then I advised them that irrespective of your mobilization efforts, the distribution of goats will only commence after the national launch by His Excellency.
Okay, pause there. You said, notwithstanding the mobilization,
the distribution, the delivery, the supply and the delivery of goods by them to the ministry will only commence after the national launch by His Excellency.
Yes.
Now, when was the visit by the two? They will call it.
That's on the 2nd of March 2022. Yes. So I also advised them that we are going to produce what we call the guidelines for the goats, as well as the distribution schedules. And we were going to give them after we have done that preparatory work. However...
Wait. Yes.
However, they should proceed with the mobilization of the goats until they are advised of the date of the launch, the national launch.
Yes.
After that, they departed, and what then followed were efforts by them updating the ministry in terms of their mobilization effort.
Wait. Yes.
Who are you referring to as M in plural?
Moses, Mpofu, as well as Mike Chimombe. Remember, I'm referring to the 2nd of March meeting, where we discussed the immediate direction, of which I highlighted in terms of the guidelines, the distribution schedule, and that the distribution will only commence after the national launch by His Excellency. Then, after that meeting, we had communication from Gift Matiza, who was now communicating with the ministry, giving updates. And the first update that was copied to me, and that letter written to CDG, was that they had mobilized about 31,000 votes. And that was...
Wait. In a letter addressed to the...
CDG.
Who is that? Who is CTG? What does it stand for?
Chief Director Jiri. Obed Jiri. Professor Jiri.
Chief Director, G stands for? CDG. Chief Director and the G?
No. It's the Chief CD for Chief Director, then Obed Jiri.
Oh, Jiri.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. So Chief Director Jiri. Thank you. They had mobilized.
They had mobilized about 31,000 doors. The same Gift Matiza came to the office, and I advised them that you need to have a ratio of 1 to 20.
Just a second. Those are the females. I hope I'm right. The doors are the females.
Yes. So I advised them that the ratio has to be 1 back to 20 doors. And therefore, using that ratio, you would require about 1,550 bucks.
Just wait a bit. Advising that the ratio was supposed to be how many doors to a back, or
1 back to 20 doors. And hence,
yes,
using the figure that they told me of having mobilized,
yes,
31,000, you then need 1,550 bucks. And in July, in a letter also copied to me, that was directed to CDG, they indicated they had mobilized the 1,550 bucks to give a total of 32,500 goats.
yes. Listen. Well, let's just stop there. Just for clarification, one of the members of the court wants to know if Matiza was acting on whose behalf? On
According to the letter,
yes,
that I saw, it was written project coordinator.
Oh, okay. or of the successful bidder. Okay.
For Black Duck.
We'll record that. Thank you. Proceed, state.
So the total was 32,500 goats that they said they mobilized.
Not 3,550.
32,500.
So
I requested that the ratio has to be 1:20, and for the bucks they should be 1,550. However, the figure they finally mobilized for the bucks was 1,500 to give a total of 32,500. Right. Okay. While I was implementing my section of the project, there were other processes that were taking place that were beyond my control, and which resulted in the PS requesting me to go and do a verification exercise regarding the 32,000 goats that were then presented.
I'm sure we all know that the PS refers to Mr. Basera, the permanent secretary.
Exactly.
So he requested you. Yes, Karen.
And then between 20 and 21, I communicated with the provincial directors that they release livestock guys with a list of the sites, the holding sites, that they had said they had the 32,500 goats.
You requested that?
I requested the provincial directors
Yes.
to release livestock guys to go and carry out a verification exercise. On the holding sites that were alleged to have these 32,500 goats.
Wait a second. Yes.
And yes, the exercise was done. I may go a little bit back, so that you understand the background to the holding sites. One of my officers received an email from the same Gift Matiza, the project coordinator. Okay, thank you. I will proceed. So they gave a report, and the total goats that we found in the holding sites were 3,713.
Wait a second. $3,000.
713.
Yes.
And of these 3,713, 325 were kids. And 330.
How many were kids?
325
Yes.
were kids. And the balance were the goats, the adult goats.
Yes.
And then I submitted this report to my principals. And in this case, I am talking to CDG and the PS.
Yes.
On the 9th of September, the national launch was done in Chipinge.
Which year?
That's 2022, 9 September 2022. The national launch was done at Chipinge.
Yes.
And during the national launch, the former PS Basera then requested that we should go to do a second verification exercise led by Black Duck in order for them to show us the goats in the holding sites that they had said they had mobilized, because our report had shown a different figure.
Well, wait there. Yes.
After that instruction, and after the launch, in the office, I called Moses Mpofu to come for this meeting through a phone call.
Yes.
And yes, indeed, they came on the 13th of September, 2022.
Wait.
Moses Mpofu and Mike Chimombe. And in that meeting, I called my deputy director, one livestock officer who was taking the minutes.
Wait. Slowly. I called the. Who did you invite? You were saying you invited.
I invited Moses.
Yeah, I know. And then your officers?
My deputy director.
Okay. Yes.
Munyarazi Chimoa by name.
Yes. And who else?
And then one of the livestock officers, Taderera by name, who was the secretary, taking minutes. And there was another livestock officer.
Sorry,
by name Gunjenja.
Sorry, who was taking minutes? Yes, Mnyarazi Gunjenje, and who else?
It's Gunjenje, that's another name. Munyarazi Chimoa is the deputy director, and the person who was taking minutes is Taderera.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So we presented our issue as directed by the permanent secretary, that we are supposed to go and carry out this verification exercise. And then they advised that it was difficult for us to undertake the verification exercise because the goats were in multiple agencies, and that would take time. But I advised that this is the directive that sorry, it's okay.
It was difficult to do the verification exercise since the goats were
in multiple agencies, as opposed to the holding size that they had advised initially.
yes.
On my insistence that this should be done, they then requested to go and see the permanent secretary and thereafter report back.
Yes.
Definitely they left the office and they did not come back. However, I then received a letter copied to me, dated 15 September 2022, addressed to the secretary, highlighting the challenges of
The letter was dated 22 September.
dated 15 September 2022. Addressed to the permanent secretary, also copied to me.
Okay, just a second. Yes.
Highlighting the difficulties or the complexity of conducting this exercise.
Yes.
So that was the issue regarding that meeting. Since the launch had been done by His Excellency, now they were in the act of mobilizing and distributing goods. And I was in constant contact with Moses Mpofu.
Wait. Yes.
Where I was receiving complaints or challenges from stakeholders or from my principals, I would then communicate with Moses Mpofu.
Okay.
And
Wait.
specifically,
Yes. And specifically?
I made 2 submissions, letters to Moses, one on the 10th of October, highlighting that the number of goods that they were supplying and distributing were too low to have an impact on the ground. And hence, there was need for them to increase on the goat numbers that they were supplying and delivering.
Okay.
So I wrote a letter on the 10th.
Wait there. Yes.
I wrote a letter on the 10th with complaints on the number of goods that they were delivering, and also to increase the number of goods for Mashingo and Manicaland. That was the first letter that I wrote to Moses Mpofu. And the second one,
For which Manicaland?
for Manicaland and Mashingo, because I had received complaints from the resident minister.
Okay, just a second. Yes.
And the second one was on the 15th of November 2022, which I highlighted that there was need for them to increase on the number of goods that they are delivering. Because by that date, the total number of goods that they had delivered, in terms of the papers I had received, were 3,332, which was far below the figure that was expected. In this case, I'm referring to the 32,500 goods that they had said they had mobilized. And I was advised to proceed that the remaining goods should be supplied by the end of the year, that is 2022. And it was contained in that letter.
By which date?
It was contained in the letter of 15 November 2022.
And that the court should be delivered by?
By end of the year.
Yes.
Now, if you may have a look at this document.
Yes?
Do you recognize it? So,
Yes?
what is the document?
This is
Yes, you have been shown a document, and what was the question following that?
Do you recognize the document?
yes? Yes?
What is it all about?
This is the document I was referring to, the 13th of September, the pre-departure verification second exercise. That was supposed to be led by Black Duck. That's the minutes of the meeting that I was referring to.
And who was in attendance?
These are the people that I mentioned that are written there.
So minutes of which date?
13 September 2022. It's written there. The number 5, it's Mike Chimombe Black Death. Number 4, that's M Mpofu Black Death. Then Itaderera Livestock Specialist Minute. Then Chimoa Deputy Director. Then myself, Director.
My Lord, in one of our assessors, the state is applying for the production of the minutes. That the minutes being referred to by the witness as an exhibit before the court.
Mr. Chitila?
No objections, my lord.
Yes, we can have them. What the numbers written at the top? LPD stroke J stroke 27 stroke 36. What did they?
That's the reference.
Oh,
That's the reference for that document.
Very well. Sorry. The document which describes itself as the which the witness says is the minutes of the meeting held in connection. It says presidential GOAT scheme, GOAT numbers verification exercise, reference LPD /J /27/36 shall be exhibit 15.
Okay. Then I was receiving numerous requests in terms of the provincial launches that they had stopped. And on 15 December, I phoned, 15 December which year? 2022.
Wait.
I phoned Moses Mpofu regarding the delivery of goats.
You were receiving requests from the provincial?
I was receiving requests from stakeholders, from my principals, in terms of the performance, the launches, whether they were going on or not, and that they had stopped, and they wanted to know the position.
Yes.
So I phoned Moses Mpofu regarding the delivery and supply of goods. And he advised me that they had suspended the supply and delivery of goods. And what I then did was...
When did you phone him? You gave a date? You said you called Moses Mpofu on what date?
I called Moses Mpofu to get the position.
Did you mention a date?
No, I phoned him. I phoned him. We didn't meet.
Do you remember the date that you phoned him?
It was 15 December.
Okay.
I said 15 December.
Okay. And he advised...
And he advised me that they had suspended the supply and the delivery of goods. And thereafter, what I then did was to send a WhatsApp message, just confirming that thank you for the message, that the goods have been suspended. And then I informed my principals of this position.
Yes.
He actually advised me that they had written a letter to the ministry regarding the suspension.
Who said that?
Moses Mpofu. Because there were other events taking place behind the scenes that I didn't have access to. That's the cancellation of the tenders, the contract that was happening. That was not part of my brief. I was just doing my own, the management of the project. On 29 December 2022, at the end of the year, then I produced a good performance report regarding Black Duck with a summary of 4,208 goats having been supplied.
How many goats? Sorry?
4,208. Valued at approximately 331,445. And hence...
Wait. Valued at approximately?
At 331,445 US dollars. Using the addendum contract price, because the price had been adjusted from the original contract price. Giving an outstanding balance of 7.38 million US dollars. And this report
Of balance of
7.38 million US dollars in terms of the goods to be supplied.
yes.
And this report, I circulated it to my principals, right from the chief director, the permanent secretary, the legal section, the chief director for finance.
Wait. Finance. Legal. I've not captured others. I've got the chief director finance, the
The
legal.
chief director finance,
Yes.
the chief director Obed Jiri,
Yes.
the late Dr. Makoni, the legal advisor for the ministry, Mr. Chuma, the permanent secretary himself,
Yes.
Consequently, because of this report, I was then requested to submit a letter to Black Duck for an engagement meeting so that there could be a resupply of the goods.
Yes.
Without taking the legal route. And on 29 January,
Wait. Yes.
I wrote a
21
letter,
January, which year?
2023. I wrote a letter to Moses Mpofu inviting him for a re-engagement meeting for the 2nd of February 2023.
Wait.
Unfortunately,
The meeting was supposed to be on the 2nd of February
2nd of February 2023.
2023. Yes.
Unfortunately, and yes, I used to use the word unfortunately,
Yes.
I was reassigned from the Department of Livestock Production to Tsetse Control with the effect from 1 February. And I moved to the Department of Tsetse Control and I handed everything to the director who was taking over.
Can you go on?
Okay. So the meeting of 2nd of February was actually done, and I came in as a spectator. And I know very well who
Okay,
was
wait,
there.
wait. You mean you were present?
Yes, I was present.
Yes, you said you were present?
The meeting was chaired by the legal advisor, Mr. Chuma,
Wait.
of the ministry.
It was chaired, yes.
The late Dr. Makoni,
Yes.
the retired Chief Director for Finance, Mr. Muzamiri,
Wait. Yes.
the current PS later joined in to chair the meeting,
Who is the current PS?
Dr. Obed Jire.
Oh, okay. Well, he was chief director then.
He was Chief Director then.
So let's just speak about, let's just describe him by his position then. So
Yes,
he
Chief
was
Director Jiri.
Chief Director Jiri. Yes, joined.
Yes. And we had the other members from the livestock department. Kwanangandaita hand over the reins.
Meaning what in English?
I'm saying the guy we had taken over from him.
Okay.
And then from Black Deck side, it was Mpofu,
Yes.
Mike Chimombe, Gift Matiza,
Yes.
and they had a legal representative.
Who was the lawyer?
I can't remember very well, but I should think it was our advocate, Tapso. If I'm not mistaken, I'm sorry.
You are referring to Chotero.
Exactly.
I see.
Affectionately known as Advocate Taps. Very well.
Yes. And the proceedings proceeded. And from what I remember very well, there was no conclusive agreement. But I was not the chair. The chair was the legal advisor who took the decision, the deliberations of the meeting. I thank you. That's my presentation.
Now, before the 2nd of March, or is it 2nd of February 2023, how many goats have been delivered to the ministry by Black Deck?
Thank you. I repeat again. I submitted a report end of the year with a total of 4,208 goats.
Now,
What then happened after I left, I don't know.
would you know what became of the 32,500 goats which were said to have been held in the holding pens?
I don't know. That's for Black Deck to answer.
I have no further questions for the minister, my lord.
Very well. You were answering questions from the State Council. You will now answer questions from the lawyers that are representing the accused persons. We expect you to listen to the questions carefully and answer them to the best of your ability.
Yes, my lord. Mr. Koto will cross-examine this witness.
Yes, Mr. Koto?
Thank you very much. Yes, witness you confirm that at all material times you were aware that you were dealing with Black Deck Private Limited in this presidential vote scheme?
Yes.
Yes.
And when Mpofu visited your offices, he was doing so as a representative of Black Deck Private Limited.
Mpofu visited a number of times. Which one are you referring to? The first one or all of them? Because the first one he was inquiring.
Well, Mpofu visited your offices before the tender had been flighted, or soon after the tender had been flighted.
Yeah, I presume because I was not following on the flighting of the tender, but you did visit my office.
Okay. Now, by then, Black Deck Private Limited was already a registered company. You don't dispute that?
I'm sorry, I have to say I don't know because I was not handling any of the documents of Black Duck.
If he was to tell the court that indeed he was doing so as Black Deck Private Limited representative, you have no evidence to rebut that.
He doesn't know.
Now, you confirm that Black Deck wrote to you indicating that the goats were being held by various farmers, numbering up to 100.
They didn't write to me. They copied to me. The letter was written to my principals.
And although the goats had been mobilized, they had not yet been paid for. Are you aware of that?
I don't know because I was not involved with the payment. The payment was done by another section.
You told this court about the value of the goods that were supplied and the outstanding number of goods in US dollars, right?
Yes.
You are aware that the ministry paid for those goods in Zimbabwean dollars?
I was advised later by those who were responsible.
My lord, my learned assessors, my co-counsel, asked to be excused for a few minutes.
You can afford to miss part of the proceedings.
Yes, my lord, my colleagues.
Thank you.
And one of the problems that Black Deck highlighted to the ministry was that farmers were not willing to part with their livestock for Zim dollars, but for US dollars.
No, I was not advised of that. My job was to receive goats, and these were done in the various provinces, and I would get feedback from the provinces in terms of the numbers. And when I get these figures, I then compiled them and submitted reports upwards.
But you are aware that Blackjack actually wrote a letter to the ministry requesting for payment in US dollars.
Yes, I saw that later.
Confirm that the ministry responded by saying it was unable to avail US dollars.
I can't comment on that one. As I said, that is not my area of jurisdiction. And normally when those letters are submitted, they go straight to the contractor, not to me.
Now, the amount in US dollars that you were telling the court were a conversion of the Zim dollar to US at official rates.
Yes. Official rate of the day. But in actual fact, let me put it, these were...
I've answered.
Yes. Proceed.
Now, Blackjack will tell the court that it failed to secure the US dollars at the official rate after the ministry had indicated its inability to avail the US dollars.
It failed to secure the US dollars.
The US dollars.
Can you come again? Sorry?
Blackjack will say that they failed to secure the US dollars from the former market after the ministry indicated that it was not in a position to avail the US dollars.
I don't think I can comment on that one, because I don't think I'm qualified to say anything. If that letter or if that request came to my principals, not to me.
Blackjack will further state that after that failure to secure the US dollars from the former market, they tried to get the US from the black market. Are you aware of that?
I don't understand what has that to do with me. Because as far as I'm concerned, what I want are goats. That problem is supposed to be channeled to the appropriate department, not me.
Wait. Yes.
You wanted goods that were supposed to be sold from farmers who were demanding US dollars.
The mobilization strategy for Blackjack.
Hold. You were expecting goods and you knew they were supposed to come from farmers, right?
That's what I'm saying. The strategy that
I do not want explanation.
You must not have an argument. We want the witness to be able to answer your questions.
Exactly. This is what I expect.
Well, you wanted goods that were to be sourced using US dollars.
The strategy that Blackjack uses is none of my business. How they mobilize the god, I don't have anything to do with that.
Yes.
So you are basing your figures on non-existent foreign currency.
The issue of foreign currency.
Wait. Why are you persisting with that line of questioning? He has already said that was not within his purview.
You are aware that at one time, Blackdeck tried to be creative by transferring the Zim dollars into several various accounts to be assisted to raise foreign currency.
I'm not aware of that. That is not none of my business.
You are aware that the ministry negotiated the reduction of the purchase price by 25%?
Yes, I was advised. And that's why I said I used the addendum price when I calculated the value of the goods that were delivered and the outstanding goods.
Yes. Wait. Proceed.
You are aware also that the decision to award the tender to Blackdeck was because it proved to be the cheapest of all the bidders. Are you aware of that?
I was not involved with the tender process.
You are also aware that the ministry was supposed to pay 30% of the agreed purchase price.
Yes, that one I'm aware because I read it in the tender document. So the contract document.
You are also aware that the ministry failed to pay the whole 30% of the deposit that had been agreed.
Yes, because I read it later.
Now, Blackdeck expected to pay for the goods they had mobilized, hoping that the ministry was going to release the 30% as agreed.
Sorry, repeat the question.
Blackdeck hoped to pay for the goods mobilized once the ministry had paid the 30% deposit it had agreed to.
I may have heard this as a corridor talk. Why am I saying so? It's because I was not part of the transaction. So that question is not supposed to be directed to me.
Yes.
And Blackdeck will say that because of the ministry's breach by failing to pay the 30%, they found it impossible to avail the number of goods that you have priced at $7 million US.
I have no comment on that one. I think it's a statement that is coming from you to advise me. I can't comment anything there.
You are aware that the ministry then wrote to Blackdeck cancelling the contract?
Yes, that one I know.
Yes.
And part of the reason for cancelling was that the ministry had discovered that Blackdeck was trying to source for foreign currency from the black market. We are aware of that?
Yes, I heard that one, but that job was tackled by my principals. And it was not only that one. the prices were found not to be competitive, and hence there was that approach for a review in price, and hence the 25% reduction that was then effected.
You are telling the court that after the ministry had picked Black Deck for being the cheapest bidder, and after it had negotiated a 25% price reduction, it again cancelled the contract on the basis that Black Deck, the goods were too expensive.
I was not involved in the process of the contract awarding. So I don't want to comment on things that I don't have enough evidence or information.
Okay, after reducing the contract price by 25%, it then cancelled the contract on the basis that it was too expensive.
Yeah, that question is supposed to be answered by my principals because they are the ones who wrote that letter, not me.
But you confirm that they actually wrote cancelling on the basis of the goods being expensive, right?
As I have said, I heard and I know it was cancelled. But the documents, that was out of my scope.
Okay. Now, we now have this scenario where the ministry failed to avail US dollars, and it was now cancelling on the basis that Black Deck should not source from the black market.
I don't know how I can put it. I said I was not involved in the transaction of the payment. And you can't answer me those questions. Ask me those questions. Unless you want me to manufacture information that I don't.
Now, Black Deck would therefore say that it was impossible to bring the 7 million goods because it found itself having to it found itself in a situation where the farmers would refuse to release their goods because there was no US dollars.
I don't know.
I was trying not to...
Well, I think I'm almost done with that.
No, don't worry. Not to interfere with your line of questioning. But are you putting these questions on behalf of Black Deck Private Limited or on behalf of the first accused?
Well,
because you keep saying Black Deck will say this. Well, I don't. Black Deck, unfortunately, is not before me.
Yes, I had actually laid the foundation by saying whenever Mpofu visited or talked to the witness, he was doing so as a representative of Black Deck.
Yeah, but Black Deck is not before me.
I appreciate that.
So Black Deck cannot ask questions, cannot put anything to the witness. The person that you are representing, you are cross-examining on behalf of the first accused.
Yes, I
So are we then saying that all the questions that you posed are, and you are putting the witness, you are doing that on behalf of the first accused, or you want to travel the path again?
They are on behalf of the first accused.
Well, I'm sorry for interrupting, but just want to, you can proceed.
And if I might just confirm my client.
Yes, you may. Yes, you may.
Yes, you confirmed that money was paid by the ministry towards the procurement of the goods, right?
I don't know. Because, as I have said, I was on the management of the goods, the distribution, not the payment. The payment was done by another section.
Okay.
Unless you want me to take the job of that section, which I say. That's
No, you'll be in trouble. We won't allow you to take their job.
Yeah, but
Just state your position is enough.
no, that's not my area.
Okay. If I tell you that the money paid by the ministry went to Black Deck and not to Moses Mpofu, you cannot dispute that.
No, I don't think I can make a comment on that one because I was not involved. That was not my job. And I don't know how much money was paid and when it was paid.
And when you say that there was non-delivery of some goods, that non-delivery was committed by Black Deck and not by Moses Mpofu.
What? Say that again.
If you say that there was
Wait.
non-delivery of some goods, that failure was by Black Deck Private Limited and not by Moses Mpofu.
I didn't say Moses or that. I was giving facts, the chronological sequence of the project that I was implementing. And that project was under Black Duck. Thank you.
And as part of the Ministry of Lands, you were very clear that there was no contractual relationship between Moses Mpofu and the ministry.
Sorry.
Wait. As part of the ministry, you were very clear that there was no contractual relationship between Moses Mpofu in his personal capacity and the ministry.
I don't know.
Yes, Mr.
You told the court that you used to write letters. Confirm that those letters were directed to Black Deck Private Limited and not to Moses Mpofu.
I was directing those letters to Moses Mpofu as a representative of Black Duck.
Yes. And lastly, you confirm that there is no breach that you can ascribe to Moses Mpofu.
I can't answer that one.
That's all.
Remember, I assured him that he won't be discussing the law. Now, anyway, you cannot answer. We totally understand him. So that is all.
Yeah, that is all.
For the second accused.
Thank you, my lord. Yes, witness, I just, for the avoidance of doubt, you have already said things that are clear, that you were not involved at all in the bidding process, and so you wouldn't know what happened with the bidding. I just want you to really confirm that you would not be able to say no to this position that I'm reading to you, which appears in the defense outline of the second accused. So I'm reading paragraph 10 in the defense outline.
Thank you. The second accused versus defense.
Second accused defense outline.
Yes, proceed.
So I'm reading it. The second accused has no knowledge on how Black Deck Private Limited prepared its documents, drew them up, and submitted the bid. He has no knowledge on how the contract between the Ministry of Lands and Black Deck was concluded. He was nowhere near when the agreement was entered into. He was not present when the goods were supplied to the ministry by Black Deck. He never received any money from Black Deck, which were part of the profits from what was paid by the ministry. That's paragraph 10 of the defense outline. I want you to confirm that you cannot say no to those things.
Okay. What I can say is the second accused person, I know him as he was coming with Moses.
No, witness, I have read to you paragraph 10. I think you've understood paragraph 10.
Yes.
I only want you to say, I have no knowledge of that. In other words, you cannot deny that, what was said in paragraph 10.
Definitely, yes.
You cannot deny it.
Yes.
Thank you. We have seen that from all your evidence, you have connected the second accused, I think that's what you were about to do, with the meetings that were held where he was present. Am I correct?
I was highlighting his presence as a fact.
That's fine. What I want you to confirm, we have already confirmed it. Just relax. I'm not going to be long with you. I'm going to be very short. Please, just relax. I'm saying, are we correct in understanding you that the only connection you have brought the second accused into your evidence is when he attended the meetings that you have given to the court? Are we correct in understanding that?
That's true. Yes.
Are we also correct in that you have indicated 3 meetings where he was present? The first meeting was 2nd March 2022. The second meeting, 18 September 2022.
So the first meeting?
First meeting is 2nd March 2022.
Yes.
Then the second meeting is 13 September 2022. And the third meeting is 2nd February 2023.
That's true.
Those are the 3 meetings.
Yes.
Are we correct? Just say it out.
Yes, yes, I'm saying yes.
Will we be correct that those are the 3 meetings that we have to deal with ourselves for the second accused in relation to your evidence?
Yes, those are the minimum number. Yes.
You have no other meetings that you have placed before the court?
You see, what I can say
No, I'm
is...
saying you have no other meetings that you have said in your evidence. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's fine. We end there. Can we then get to the fact that, are we correct that out of these 3 meetings, you have only produced Now, out of those 3 meetings that you have told the court, you have only produced minutes in relation to 1 meeting. Are we correct?
Yes.
You have not produced minutes of the meeting of 2nd March 2022. Is that correct?
Yes.
You have not produced minutes of the meeting of 2nd February 2023.
I'm not the one who is supposed to produce minutes because I was just a spectator.
Yes, I think you will be better off answering my question. You have not produced the minutes.
Yes, thank you. That's true.
We only have 1 set of minutes.
Yes.
Now, the second accused has said in his evidence, which he has said in his defense outline, that he attended only 1 meeting, and that is the meeting where you have minutes that are presented to court. What is your response to that?
I still maintain that he attended these other 2 meetings. I still maintain that.
Yes, you can maintain it. Are you realizing that you have no minutes of those meetings?
That's true. Yes, I don't have minutes of the meeting.
Correct. So if he's saying he never attended any other meeting, do you realize that it will be your word against his word? Do you realize that that is what will be happening?
Yes, you are correct.
Thank you. Now let's get to one meeting that we all agree was attended, the meeting of 13 September. Here we are in agreement. He agrees that he attended that meeting.
Yes.
And he also realized that you produced minutes of that meeting. Now my question is, who did these minutes?
It was Taderera, the minuting person.
So you would say, you would agree that these minutes were done by the ministry?
Yes, because he works for the ministry.
That's correct. What role did the second accused play in drafting the minutes of this meeting?
No, he didn't draft the minutes, but he was just contributing to the discussion.
We are talking about the minutes.
No, he didn't play any role
He didn't play any role in
in the
preparing.
production of the minutes.
Yes.
Were these minutes sent to the second accused for his input before they were then endorsed as valid minutes?
I can't remember whether he received it, but I tasked the person who was doing the minutes to circulate them.
I think you need to answer them. The minutes, the document which is Exhibit 15, you might need to familiarize yourself with it. If the state could help us, just give you a copy of the minutes so that I still use my document here. The minutes of 15 September, Exhibit 15, if that could be handed over to you. Yeah, witness, you'll recall that that is the document which you tendered, which is part of the record as Exhibit 15.
Yes.
Now my question, I want to repeat it so that you answer it again. When these minutes were drafted by Taderera, who is recorded as minuting, they were endorsed by you.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
You signed them.
Yes.
Now my question is, before the signing by these two, was the draft document sent to the second accused for them to see that these are the minutes before you endorse them? That's the question.
I don't know.
You don't know.
Yes.
His position is that he never saw these minutes. The first time he saw this document was when it was made part of state papers. What is your response to that?
I can't comment if he is saying that.
Yes, I want you to move to a more serious level in your answer. The question is, would you say no, he is lying if he says he never saw this document before I endorsed it?
I don't think I can say he's lying.
You cannot say that?
Yes.
Yes. That's different from you cannot comment. Now, when we look at that, because you're looking at that document.
Just out of interest, which is the correct answer? Is it no or yes? If he's saying he cannot comment. In English.
In English,
If he's saying I cannot comment, does he say no, I cannot comment, or yes, I cannot comment?
I think it's no, I cannot comment.
Let me put it correct. When I said I can't comment because I was not the minute person was supposed to take it to the what? To the
Not all right.
second
We just
This
want.
is why I say it. I can't comment.
It's okay, witness. We just want the record to be straight because that would appear to be contradicting. So I just wanted to be sure grammatically whether he should be saying no, I cannot comment, or yes, I cannot comment. Because if he says that, then they destroy each other. So clarify from him what exactly he means.
Yes, witness, I want you to, I think you are listening to the exchange that is coming from the court.
I stand with my word that I can't comment because I was not the secretary. The secretary is the better placed the person to answer that one.
Now, the question is, to your knowledge yourself, to your knowledge, do you know whether these minutes were sent, the draft minutes were sent to the second accused?
I don't know.
You don't know, yes. I think we can leave it.
I'm sure it's clear. His answer is clear now.
Now, so we get to those minutes. I wanted to ask you a question in relation to the document, if you look at it. Do you realize there that the first sentence only talks about introduction of members of your unit, LPD members, and there is no minute indicating the introduction of those persons who are representing elected?
Yes. Yes.
You realize that?
Yes.
Now,
Proceed.
so you confirm that the minutes themselves, the narration in the minutes, does not say exactly in what capacity the second accused was
No,
in the meeting.
It doesn't say. And up to now, even myself, I don't know in what capacity the second accused person was coming in, because it's not highlighted.
Thank you very much. I think I don't need to ask you any more questions because that's where we're going. So you confirm that in these meetings, you do not know in what capacity the second accused was coming?
Yes.
Then I think finally, because I was going to cut my examination. So finally, you also see that in those minutes, where there is a record of what was said by whom, it says it was Mr. Mpofu who said this, Mr. Mpofu said this. There is nowhere in the minute where it said that Mr. Chimombe said this.
Okay, that's fine. I have to go through the document
Yes,
just to confirm that there was no mention of him, even if he was present.
You confirm that there's no mention of what is it?
Sorry?
Yes, I confirm.
Thank you. We have no further questions.
State re-examination?
I've got one question. You said your report was based on what? On what came from the province. You did not go to the ground yourself.
Yes, I did send representatives, provincial representatives, to carry out the verification exercise.
Thank you very much. Oh, sorry. Questions arising, State?
None from the state.
No. Any questions arising, Mr. Jotero? Mr.
No.
Yes, my lord. I just noted one question that arises from it. The members who went for verification, can you confirm that part of their report was that they could not locate the goats?
No, not that. We were given specific goat holding sites with names of representatives and the locations. So they went to those locations. They had contact numbers of the persons. So they went straight to the holding sites and they requested to meet with the persons that had been indicated in the report to conduct the verification exercise with the persons that were there.
In the minutes, it had been pointed out that the goats were at various people, like at various farms, some were still with the sellers. And those goats had not been taken into account in the verification.
That was the explanation later.
Is that correct?
Yes, it was later.
Yeah, but your answer is yes?
Yes, it was later, yes.
No further questions, my lord.
We have nothing around.
Thank you very much for giving evidence, and we apologize that it has taken long for you to give evidence. But then finally you are free to go.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
My Lord, the state intends to call Professor G at past 2. This is an opportune time to break for lunch. I see Mr. Matuku is smiling at you as well.
I just wanted him to confirm that that is his last witness, at least from our discussion.
I don't think there is need to take each other.
Well, I think the decision will be made at the appropriate time. Yes. I'm sure we all want to conclude this trial. That's why Mr. Maduku is just anxious. We all want to conclude the trial, so I understand that. But anyway, we are not too far from knowing. Stand up, accused persons. We are breaking for lunch. We'll resume the trial at 2:30. Any other business for now? The court will adjourn.